This
understandable
conference will
language.
now be recorded.
That is nothing but mission language. So the code which we wrote will be converted into mission code. So that is called that feasibility is inbuilt having with our Python. When you observe in C, or when you observe in embedded C and everything, other languages, what happens is like, if you write a code in your own human language, then what happens is like, it has to be converted into mission language to work with your mission, okay, to execute with your mission. So that feasibility is inbuilt having in our Python language. That is why it is called as interpreted language. Is it clear what is interpreted? And next, high level language. Maybe you heard about low level language, middle level language, high level language. So see, what is C language? Is it a high level language or a low level language? C is a high level language or a low level language? Okay, some people are saying that it's low level language and some are saying that it is high level language. Actually, C is a high level language. That means it can be the code can be executed in any mission. That means for example, if you are working with a Windows system, Windows OS, you are working with a Windows OS. So in few languages, what happens is like, a particular code which a user has wrote, that should be executed only with that particular machine. It cannot be used on other operating systems. Okay, so in our Python language, so the code whatever you wrote for any operating system, for any mission, you can execute it on any mission. Okay, so there is no particular rule that this code should be executed only on this particular platform. Okay, so that is called as high level language. High level language is nothing but, so what, the code is all mission independent. It does not depend upon any mission. For example, a few languages like Fortran, for we are having some languages like Fortran and all, right? So they are also high level languages. C, Fortran, Pascal, they are also high level languages. That means whatever the code you have written, it can be executed on any mission. That means any operating system. If you want to execute the same code on Linux, you can execute that. If you want to execute on Ubuntu operating system, you can execute on that. So that is called as high level language. So here general purpose programming language is nothing but, as you all said that, so our code is just like our English communication language. So whatever the words we speak in English, that statements can be put in our Python code. Okay, that's the reason Python is interpreted. Interpreted means there is no need to convert our code into mission language. Inbuilt, it will automatically convert the line of instructions what we give to our mission into mission language. Okay, so that is called as interpreted language. High level language is nothing but, it is not mission dependent. It is mission independent. You can execute a code which you wrote in any mission. And general purpose programming language, so this is just the code which we are using is just like our general English language. So that is called as general purpose programming language. So we saw what is Python is, but we should know who invented that Python, right? So the Python programming language was introduced by Guido van Rossum. Okay, he is the founder of this Python programming language. Okay, so he introduced this Python programming language in 1994. So at the time of introduction, the version of our Python programming is 1.0. Okay, so in 2000 it was upgraded to version 2. It was upgraded to version 2 till 2019. This version 2 was in picture, but now you cannot access this version 2. You are not having any operating software also, version 2 softwares. Till 2019, in middle of 2020, we are having this version 2, but now we cannot able to download this particular IDLE. So the platform to run this version 2 code. Okay, and in 2008, so we the version 2 has been upgraded to version 3. So you will get a question like, what was that upgradation? So the upgradation is nothing but some features, some extra features and extra keywords will be introduced into our programming language. Okay, the current we are using Python 3.8. So it was introduced in 2019. So the platform which we are using for executing our Python code is Jupyter Notebook. So even in our Jupyter Notebooks, we will have this version 3.8. Okay, so this is about the history of our Python. So next, so as I already asked you the question like why we are using this Python. So let's see in detail why we are using this. So the first reason is like, as you already said me that Python is very easy to learn. So that is easy to learn and develop. If you want to write a code of some finding a large number from a group of numbers, okay, within your 2 lines of code, you can write your program. That is very easy to develop any program with less number of lines of code. Okay, that is the first point why we are going for this Python. So let's compare our Python with the C programming language so that you will get more clarity why we are going for this Python. So if you want to find the largest number in a group of numbers, so in how many lines of code that you have to take in C language? How many lines of code that you have to write in C language? So why I'm comparing with C language is like you already familiar with that, right? So if I compare it with the familiar language means it will be easy for you to remember. So that's the reason I'm comparing it with C language. So how many lines of code that we have to write for finding the largest number? More than 10 lines, right? So it is around some 8 to 10 lines of code in C language. But when coming to the Python, if you want to find a largest number, only it will take around 5 to 4 lines of code. So there only you can observe whereas in C language you are taking 10 lines of code. When coming to Python, half of the lines of code was reduced. So that is one reason why we are going for this Python. Python is easy to learn and develop. So next point is like supports object oriented programming. So you already know about OOPS, object oriented programming. So we are going to see about object programming language in detail in our coming sessions. So Python is also supports object oriented programming. So basically why we use this object programming language is like if you want to execute a particular code, so what we will take is like we will create that code only once. So and again we will use the same code depending upon our requirement. So that will be proposed by this object oriented programming. And next one is like platform independent. So platform independent is nothing but, so if you are working with a Windows system, Windows OS, you can execute the same code in your Windows OS. If you wrote a particular code, so if you wrote a particular code on Windows OS, you can execute the same code by using Linux OS, and you can use that in Ubuntu also. So there is no barrier for executing your code in any operating system. Like I already said you that it is high level language. That means there is no barrier for executing your code depending upon the machines that we are using. Okay, so that is platform independent. And next one is like more number of libraries. When comparing with the C language, if you want to work with some advanced concepts, like if you want to work with machine learning and artificial intelligence and deep learning and all, so by using C language you cannot write those code. But when coming to Python, you are having some libraries related to machine learning. So by using that libraries, you can easily execute any machine learning algorithm within few minutes or seconds. Okay, so that is the feasibility that we are having mainly in our Python. We are having mainly 5 advanced libraries. One is NumPy, and the one is Pandas, and other Matplotlib, Seaborn, and next one is scikit-learn. So these are the 5 advanced libraries which are useful for working with our machine learning and artificial intelligence or data science. Okay. So next point is like developer community and open source. You can easily you can easily get the software from your Google Chrome. There is no need to buy any license. It is an open source software. By going to the official website of Python, you can download the software from it. Or if you go with Anaconda official website, you can easily download that particular software. So there is no barrier to download for anyone can download from the official sites to develop a particular code. Okay, so that is also one feasibility we are having in Python. And another point is like as I already said you that Python is very much important in developing some applications based on web. If you want to create a web page, if you want to work with a web page, so you can create by using this Python. So if you are familiar with Django and Python, you can create your own web applications. And if you want to create any internet IoT devices, if you want to program any IoT device, you can easily develop an IoT device by using this Python programming. So you can use your Raspberry Pi controller, Raspberry Pi microcontroller, and you can make your IoT device to work by using this programming language Python. Okay, and next, if you want to work with machine learning algorithms, you should know about Python. And if you want to work with data science concepts and all, so then you should have knowledge on Python. And if you want to work with artificial intelligence and all, you should have knowledge on Python. So by using Python, all the advanced applications are going to be developed. So these are the reasons why this Python programming language is very much used in our present world. Clear? So why we are using this Python? So if you are clear with this, I will move with next one. Okay. So next thing is like software. So what are the softwares that we are going to use to run our Python code? So the first and foremost basic software is like Python IDLE. Maybe everyone know about Python IDLEs. So this is the basic Python IDLE. So this one is the basic Python IDLE. So why we are not encouraging this basic Python IDLE is like if you want to work with some machine learning algorithms and all, so this will not be supported because when compare in our Jupyter notebooks, all our advanced libraries are inbuilt. Okay, there is no need to download and install them. When coming to this basic IDLE, you have to download them and you have to install them, and then you have to work with that. So okay, so to avoid that difficulty, so what we are doing is like we are going for this Jupyter notebook. Okay, so this Jupyter notebook is one of the part of Anaconda Navigator. So Anaconda Navigator is a platform where it consisting of many applications. Okay, so many applications. Let me show. It will take 1 to 2 minutes of time. Let me continue that in the meanwhile. So next one is like Google Colabs. Google Colabs is like even in your Wait, I will show you that. So by using your Gmails, you can work with this Python. In your Gmail, you are having these options like all the Google apps you are having. So in this, you will find Google Collaboratory. So by in that also you can work with your Python code. So let me show you that. So Google Drive. Here, when I click plus new, here in more I will have an options like Google Collaboratory. This is the Google Collaboratory. So this is already opened by me. So I will show you. So even by using your Gmail also you can work with your Python code. So this is also one platform. So this Google Collaboratory is also just like same as our Jupyter notebooks. This is just same as our Jupyter notebooks. By using this also you can execute your code. Okay. So this is also one way. And next thing is like a different online editors. When you go to your Google Chrome and type for online editors of Python, you will get a number of online editors. By using that also you can execute your code. But basically, but more each and every organization, any MNC company will work with this. Okay, they won't use this basic ideally or Google Colab or online editor. Just go with this Jupyter notebook. Okay, these are the softwares that you can use for executing your Python code. So next, so let's see the process of installing our Anaconda Navigator. So did you all have this Anaconda software in your laptops or PCs? I need confirmation from you. If you are already having this process means I will skip this step. Otherwise, I will tell you. No. Okay. So okay, please follow the process of installing this Anaconda Navigator so that we will continue with our program. See, my Anaconda Navigator opened. No, you cannot use PyCharm. PyCharm, those are all with advanced. So everyone, please make sure to use these. See, this is the Anaconda Navigator. Wait a moment, it's taking time to respond. Okay, so this is the Anaconda Navigator where you are having different applications. Like if you want to work with your Spider application, you can work here. And if you want to use your if you want to work with R programming language, you can use RStudio. And if you want to work with the Orange programming, then you can use this Orange 3. And if you want to work with the IPY application, then you can use this Qt console. So these are all the applications which are by default installed in our Anaconda Navigator. If you want some other applications, means you can add them to your home page. So this is all about Anaconda Navigator. Okay, so let's see the installation process in a quick manner. See, so I am giving you the link in the chat box. 1 second. So if you go to the official Anaconda site, I'm pasting it in the chat box. You can find the link from there. Please find the link in the chat box. So if you click on that link, a page will be it will navigate us to Anaconda official page. Okay. So when you click on that official that link, you will get a page will be opened like this. So here you will what you have to do means you have to go to product section. So in this product section, we will have different options. Like if you are working for an organization, then you have to go for commercial edition. So because why we are going for commercial edition is like you are using it for your business purpose. So then you have to go for commercial edition. So if you are using it for your individual benefit, so then you have to select individual edition. Okay, so as we are working with our own benefit, right? So as we are working with our own benefit, so what you have to do is like you have to select individual edition. So for individual edition, it is an open source distribution. So for any other editions, it will be some it will offer some price. Okay, so if you want to work for your business organization, means then you have to go for commercial edition. If you are working for any projects or something, so if you want to work within a team, then you have to go for team edition. So if you want to work with some data science platforms and all, then you have to go for this enterprise edition. And if you want to work for data experts, we will have some data experts and all which work within a group, right? So for them you have to use for professional services. Okay, for us individual edition is enough. So let's select this individual edition. If you click on that individual edition, it will take you to download option. So here you will get the download option. By clicking on that download option, after selecting individual edition, you will have download option. So select that download option. If when you click on the download option, you will get the different variants of Anaconda installers. Okay, so depending upon the operating system that you are using and the bit size of your operating system, you have to select the installer type. So for example, mine is 64-bit graphical installer. So I will select mine is 64-bit Windows operating system. So what I will do, I have to do is like I have to select 64-bit graphical installer. Okay, so if you are using Windows 32 means 32-bit means you have to select 32-bit graphical installer. Okay, and if you are using Apple phones or Apple laptops or something, Mac OS, if you are using Mac OS means then you have to select 64-bit graphical installer. So depending upon the then you have to go for Mac section. So here you can observe graphical installer and command line installer. So what is the difference between these graphical installer and command line installer is, simply I can tell it like, graphical installer is nothing but a package, complete package of Anaconda Navigator. So when coming to command line installer is like, so in our Linux OS, in our Linux operating system, so what, if you want to work with something, if you want to open a folder, or if you want to uh, create a folder or something, what we will do, max to max we will use our command prompt, right? So if you we will use our command prompt, right? So the same thing happens here in command line installer. What happens is like, everything you have to work with in the format of commands only. So command line is just like command. Guys, please make sure to mute your mics. So command line installer is nothing but like a command prompt where all our operations will be done in the format of commands in a command line. Okay, so in a command prompt. Okay, so what I suggest you is, everyone please install this graphical installers. Skip those command line installer. Skip installing that command line installer, but everyone please make sure to install graphical installer. If you want to work completely with your machine learning algorithms and all means, you should use this graphical installer. Okay, so even for Linux OS also you will have these versions, depending upon the depending upon the OS that you are using, you have to select your installer type. So when you, for example, if I click on the 64-bit graphical installer, this file will be installed. At the bottom you will have that option, download file downloading option. Are you already familiar with that? See, in this way the file will be downloaded. At the bottom, in this way the file will be downloaded. So it will take around, for downloading this file, it will take around some 20 to 25 minutes of time. Okay, and another point I want to share to you is like, your system should have at least 2 GB space to work with this Anaconda Navigator. Your system or your laptop should have 2 GB space for installing this Anaconda Navigator. So please make sure to have that 2 GB of space. Okay. Now after downloading the software, when we click on that downloaded file, so it will be opened in this format. Okay, it will be open in this format. So it will welcome us for the setup of, as I install 64-bit, it is welcoming us with the 64-bit setup. So here you can observe the version that you are downloading also. Downloading also, and after in this page you have to click on next. So after clicking on next, it will navigate us to next page. So in this page you will have the license agreement. So you have to scroll down till last, and then you have to click on I agree. So by clicking on I agree, it is we are confirming that we are agreeing for all the set of rules and regulations. So next, after clicking on I agree, it will navigate us to next installation type selection. Okay, here you will have 2 options, like just me or all users. So here, if you are installing your Anaconda Navigator within your own PC or laptop, then you have to select only just me. That means you only will have all the admin privileges. So if you select all users, means every user who is using this, every user who is using the that particular laptop or PC, they will have all the privileges to make changes of your software. So please make sure to select depending upon the PC or laptop that you are using. Okay, so if you are using within your, if you are installing Anaconda Navigator within your own systems means, then select just me. Okay, after selecting that, click on next. For mobile application, there is no app. You have to work with on a system. You cannot work with Python in a mobile. So next, so if you want to work with, so after selecting this, so it will navigate us to the next step. So in this step, it will ask you to choose the installation location. By default, it will be the C drive. Okay, and if your C drive is not having the enough space of 2 GB, then what, 2.5 GB, then what you have to do is like you have to select the other drive which is having that enough space. Okay, so everyone please make sure to check that your drive is having the enough space for installing your Anaconda Navigator, otherwise your PC will be hanged. So please make sure that. Okay, so if you want to, by default it will be with C drive. If you don't want to save that installation in C drive, then go click on browse and select the location where you want to store this software. Okay, so after selecting that, just click on next. So after clicking on next, it will take us to the next page. So in this is the main step that everyone should follow. Everyone should follow if you want to work with advanced applications means you should follow this step. Okay, so here it will ask you like add Anaconda to my path environment variable. So in our operating system, we will have some paths. For some applications, we will have some paths. You have to add that application to that path, then only it will work fine. Otherwise you won't, otherwise it will give us some issues. So to avoid all those issues, what you have to do means you have to select this add Anaconda to my path environment variable. So you have to select this option. Okay, this option should be selected by each and everyone who is installing Anaconda Navigator. Okay, so this option should be selected, and by default this option will be already selected. So so what, the second point is like it will make Python 3.6 as a default programming language. Okay, so these two options should be selected, and after selecting that, what you have to do means you have to click on install. Okay, so after clicking on install, what happens is like our Anaconda Navigator will be installed in our selected drive. Okay, so after completion of the installation, it will show us a message completed. So after getting the message like completed, you have to click on next. So for this installation process, it will take some 40 minutes of time. It will take 40 minutes of time for this installation. Okay, so just after completing this installation, just click on next and skip this process. Then skip the next process. It will ask like whether you want to use with the visualize code and all. So we don't need all this part. So just skip that. And after skipping that part, what happens is like it will show you a thank you message for installing Anaconda Navigator. So after that, just click on finish. So in this page, click on finish. So after clicking on finish, your Anaconda Navigator will be installed in your systems. Okay, to check whether your Anaconda Navigator is completely installed in your, perfectly installed in your systems or not. So what you have to do means just go to your Windows search option, okay, and type Anaconda here. So after typing this Anaconda here, you will get all the available options of your Anaconda software. So this is the application you have to launch for working with your Jupyter Notebook, Anaconda Navigator. Okay, so here you will have some other applications. Anaconda Prompt. Anaconda Prompt is nothing but our command prompt. Anaconda PowerShell is also same as like our Anaconda command line. So these are also another two command prompts that are available. So this is the basic main thing that we have to use for working with our Jupyter notebook. So if you got these 3 apps in your Windows search bar, means your installation process is completely successful. If you are facing any issues, means if you didn't get any app applications here, means what you have to do means you have to uninstall the process software that you already installed and install this and do the same process as I said. Okay, clear? This is the installation process of Anaconda Navigator. Any questions there? No. And is my flow okay for you all? Do I have to change anything? Do you all are following? So if you are facing any issues, please let me know. So next, so as we already installed our Jupyter node, Anaconda Navigator, so let's work with our Jupyter notebook now. So as you all said that you don't have experience with Jupyter notebook, let me help you in detail about this Jupyter notebook. One second, let me open my. Okay, as it will take around 1 hour time for installing this Anaconda Navigator. So what you will do for today means, everyone please listen each and every point what I'm telling now, and please work out on them after installing your Anaconda. Okay, is it okay for you all? So I will give you the introduction part about the Jupyter notebook and the usage of the Jupyter notebook. So from tomorrow, tomorrow is holiday, right? So on Saturday, let's see about the programming language. Is it okay? Okay for you all? So by Saturday, please make sure that everyone is having your Anaconda Navigator in your systems. Okay, so let me continue with the Jupyter introduction and all. You can easily understand the Jupyter introduction and all. There won't be any difficulty for you without practicing. Also, you can do it later. So let me close all this. See here. So as I already opened this Anaconda Navigator, directly I can launch from here Jupyter Notebook. Directly I can launch Jupyter Notebook from here, or else I can type Jupyter in my search option. Okay, Windows search option, I can type Jupyter Notebook. So from the here also I can click on, I can launch my Jupyter Notebook. Any 2 ways you can use. Okay, let me use this one. So everyone please make sure that when you are working with Anaconda or when you are working with Jupyter Notebook, what you have to do means you should not close this part, this server. So this is the main heart of your Jupyter Notebook. If you close this means you cannot, your applications will not, your Jupyter application will not work. So this server should run, localhost server should run, then only your Jupyter Notebook or Anaconda Navigator will work. Okay, so that is the thing. So when you open your Jupyter Notebook, so wherever you stored your Anaconda or Anaconda Navigator, so all the files of that drive will be appear when you open the Jupyter Notebook file. Okay, Jupyter Notebook application. Okay, these are the files in, these are the folders and files in my C drive. Okay, so now what I want to do is like I want to go to desktop folder. So I'm just clicking on my desktop folder. So after clicking on desk, just when you click on desktop twice, it will be navigated to our desktop folder. Okay, so these are the files and options. These are the files and folders that are available on my desktop. So what I want to do is like created in my on my desktop a folder or is a desktop, so I want to continue with that folder, so I'm opening that folder. And what I want to do is like, so what you have to do is have new to get file options. So if you want to work with a Jupyter notebook, like if you want to work with your programming language Python, then you have to select Python 3. If you want to create a text file, so we are having our notepad files, right? Text file .txt files. So to work with that txt files, you have to click on text file. So if you want to create a folder, then you have to click on folder. And if you want to work with a command prompt, okay, or anaconda prompt, then you have to click on terminal. Okay, these are the options that are available in your new Jupyter notebook. Okay, so now what I want to do is like I want to create a folder on my desktop, so I'm clicking on folder. So when you clicking on folder, you can observe here untitled folder, so it was created seconds ago. So this is the folder that I created now. Okay, so by selecting, so to rename this folder, what you have to do means you have to select this folder, and at the top you will have rename and move. If you want to move it to some other place, you have to select move, and it will ask you the location and all. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to rename my file, so I'm clicking on rename. So just give the name of your folder here. So I want to give it like Fernandra Python. Okay, so I'm clicking on just rename. So my folder has been renamed, you can observe here. So my folder was renamed a minute ago. So this folder was created a minute ago. And to open that, just double click on that, it will be opened. And now, so my folder is empty now. So now what I want to do is like for storing my day-to-day content, I'm creating again another folder, like it's day one introduction. I'm giving the heading like name as introduction. Okay, so I'm opening my day one folder. Now what I want to do is like I want to create my Jupyter notebook here. That means my Python file. So I'm clicking on Python 3. So, so if you are using your Jupyter notebook for the first time, it will ask you for some operating systems. It will ask like, do you want to open by which browser you want to open this Jupyter notebook. Everyone may please make sure to use Google Chrome as your default browser. Okay, so as I set my default browser as Google Chrome, so my Jupyter notebook was opened with the Google Chrome. Okay, so if you use my Mozilla Firefox or Internet Explorer, means it will open with those browsers. Okay, so now, so after creating a file, what we have to do, we have to rename our file, right? So when you open a new file, you will have untitled here. You will have untitled here. So just click on that untitled. So if you click on that untitled, it will make you allow you to rename your file name. So I want to make it like day one. The same name I'm giving introduction. the name was changed. Now, so here you can observe here a last checkpoint, the code already saved. It is automatically saved. Okay. So that's the reason, as the content is saved previously, that's the reason it gave me a message like last checkpoint at 2 minutes ago. Now, so let's see what are the options that are available in our Jupyter Notebook first. So in your Jupyter Notebook, you will have file option. So simply you can say, you can consider Jupyter Notebook a combination of your Google Docs as well as your Google Sheets. Okay, so the options which are available here are just same as your Google Docs and Google Sheets. So here when you in file, you will have options to create your new Jupyter Notebook and to open previously created files. And if you want to make a copy, you can use this make a copy. The same copy of the file can be created. And if you want to save as this file with another name, you can save that. And if you want to rename the file, you can use this option also for renaming your file. So here save and checkpoint is nothing but, so whenever you save your file, a checkpoint will be created. That means depending upon the time when you saved your file, that checkpoint will be stored. So okay, that is save and checkpoint. So revert to checkpoint is nothing but, for example, so now the time is 6:18. Okay, so within these 4 minutes, let's assume that I wrote some 10 lines of code. Okay, I wrote about 10 lines of code. So what I want to do is like, I don't want I just want the document which I created at 6:14 time. Whatever the content available at the point of 6:14 p.m. only I want that document. So when if you click the option like revert to checkpoint, so it will make your document as with the content available at the time of 6:14. Okay, the text after what you wrote after 6:14 all will be erased. Only you will have the content at the point of 6:40. That is about revert to checkpoint. And print preview, if you want to print your Jupyter Notebook, you can use this print preview option. And if you want to download this Jupyter Notebook, you are having different versions. Okay, not only a single version, you can use it in different version. You can make it like a .py file or HTML file or markdown file or some text file, or you can make it like a PDF format. So these are all the available options to download this file. Okay, so if you want to close, just use close and heart. Okay, so next one is like edit. You will have all the options just like your Excel sheet, like cut, copy cells, cut cells. So this is one cell. So whatever the thing available here, this is one cell. If you want to cut this cell, you can use cut. Okay, if you want to add a cell, you can use create a cell, move a cell, delete a cell, merge two cells. So all these options can be available in this edit option. And in view, you will have some options regarding this toolbar and all. So if you don't want header means, so that header will be removed. So if you want your tool header means, just click on that, you will get this is header part. If you don't want to see this means, you can use toggle header. Okay, so if you don't want toolbar means, you can these shortcut keys. So you can click on toggle toolbar. So these if you don't want this, you have to click on toggle toolbar. And next, if you don't want here, when I'm writing my code, see here. So I'm having in code section, it is having 1. So these are the line numbers in my cell. If you don't want to see those line numbers, what you have to do means, you have to click on toggle line numbers. Then they will not be visible to us. Okay, So if you want them, just click on toggle line number. And these are all the cell options. If you want to add any attachments or if you want to add any slideshow and all, you can use the cell toolbar. Okay, and if you want to insert a cell above or below, you can use insert cell above and below in the insert section. And in the cell section you will have, so as I already said you that this Jupyter notebook consists of some cells, just like our Excel sheet. So if you want to run a particular cell, you have to click on run cells. If you want to run the cells which are available above the particular selected cell, then you have to select this one. If you want to insert any cell below, then you have to select this. So these are all some run options. Okay, depending upon our requirement, you can use all these options. Okay, next thing is like kernel. So maybe you all have some idea about kernel. What is a kernel? What is kernel in your opinion? Sorry, in your view. Main part. Any other answers? Booting program. Okay, simply you can say cell is nothing, kernel is nothing but a bridge between our operating system and the platform which we are using. So Jupyter Notebook is my platform for running my Python programming, right? So you should have some connection between your operating system and with your with this platform, right? So that bridge is nothing but kernel here. Okay, what is the kernel between here is like Python programming language. So with the Jupyter application and to our operating system, there should be a bridge. It should be compatible, right? So the information should be exchanged between the two. So how it happening is like by using this Python kernel. So this kernel is the in this kernel you have different options like interrupt. If you want to interrupt in the middle of executing any program or something, then you have to use interrupt. So if you want to restart your kernel, that means if you want to restart, that means if you want to again reload your Jupyter notebook, then you have to use your restart option. So when you do this restart option, what happens means whatever the cells you executed, and you will get the output when we executed the cells, right? So all the cells which you already executed will comes to the starting state. That means they will just behave like that code is not executed. So to execute, so after restarting, if you want to clear the previously created outputs, then what you have to use restart and clear output. Okay, so as I already said you that when you do restart, what happens means your program behaves like it just not executed. So what I want is like I want to restart my kernel as well as I want to execute all the cells. Then you have to select restart and run all. Okay, so if you want to, so as I already said you that this is the server which I am using, right? So basing on the server only our Jupyter notebook will work. So if you want to reconnect if any connection lost or something happens, then you have to click on reconnect. If you want to close your Jupyter notebook or off turn off your server or something, then you have to click on shutdown. So basically by default our kernel will be Python 3. Okay, Python 3 will be our kernel. Okay, if any other advanced Python programming like version 4 or something introduced means, then you will have an option like Python 4. So by default we are having only Python 3. And next widgets or some extra features that you can add to your notebooks. I'm not going with this. And help, in help you will have different documents like I also already said you that you will also get the Python reference. If you want more, if you want to know more about your Python programming language, you can click on Python reference. You will get all the, if you, so I clicked on Python reference. So it will take you to the official documentation of your Python programming. Each and everything you can get from this Python tutorial. If you want to work, if you want to get information about advanced libraries like pandas, numpy and all, you can also get from this. Okay, if you want to get markdown help, there are some shortcut kits and all. When you want to work with your Jupyter notebook, you can get all those shortcut keys in this shortcut option. Okay, and so help is nothing but you will get all the documentation part and some shortcut keys and all here. Okay, so is it clear? So these are all some shortcut keys for saving, adding a cell and copying, running a cell and all. Clear? So this is about Jupyter Notebook. So let's see the working of Jupyter Notebook. Working with Jupyter Notebook. If you are clear with this, let's go with that. Okay. So first of all, what I have to Jupyter Notebook, the programming what we are using in this Jupyter Notebook is named as literature programming. So literature programming is nothing but we are using our Python code as well as we are using our text document. So that is the feasibility we are having in our Jupyter Notebook. So for example, let's consider our basic Python IDE. So if I want to write any text information like anything in the text format, I have to use comment section, right? So I cannot write directly text in my Python file, Python IDE file. I have to use comment section, then only I can execute my code. Otherwise, I will get an error. So to avoid all those scenarios, in our Jupyter Notebook, we will have two options in our cell. One is code cell, another one is markdown cell. Markdown cell is mainly used for using for your text documents and all. For example, if you want, let me see. What I want to do is like I want to use a particular cell only for the text purpose. I don't want to run any code or something. I just want to use it for only text purpose. Then I will convert that cell into markdown cell. If you want to work with any programming code and all, then you have to use the cell in the format of code. So these are the two options that are available in our Jupyter Notebook. So let's see how you can convert these text and markdown conversion. So for converting your cell into markdown, you have to use escape plus m. If you use escape plus m, you can observe that your cell has been converted into markdown. Here you can observe, you will get an option like markdown. So if I use escape plus y, so my cell converted into code. You can observe the cell has been converted into code. Okay. So these are the two shortcuts that you have to use for converting your cells. So let me use my markdown cell now. See, so what I want to do is like, so if you are writing any document or something, what we will put an heading, right? So here in 6 sizes, you can put your title heading. So how we can change that sizes means we have to use hash. If you use hash, one means that is the higher largest size for your title. Okay, this is the highest size. Okay, if you use double hash means it is the second highest, and till 6 hashes you can use. If you use 6 hashes means you can this is the lowest size of text. You can observe here. So this is the highest part and this is the lowest part. In between, from this highest part to lowest part, you can change your title text. Okay. Next, so what I want to do is like I want to make some points to my text. So then you have to use star space asterisk symbol space. So there are 6 title sizes, which can be varied using hash. Okay, so this is the one. This is the one point I was created. So what I want to do is like I want to create another point. We can make points in our text using asterisk symbol. So let's execute what's so see here I got okay got point wise. So if you are having any sub point in point some tabs, so for points is this clear for you all till now? So in this way you can make points of your text. So now what I want to do is like I want to create some bold italic text. Okay, I want to make some bold and italic text. So for that you have to use for italic you have to use asterisk symbol without giving any space. For making a point you have to you have to use asterisk symbol with some space, give some space, and then you have to use your text. But for making your italic text to be italic, you have to use only asterisk symbol without giving any space. So for making the text representation in italic format, use asterisk with space. Sorry, without space. Use it like single asterisk. Okay, single asterisk without space. You can observe here. Sorry, at the last also you have to use asterisk symbol. Then only it works. See, if you observe here, the text is in the format of italic. Now what I want to do is like I want to make my text to be bold. So for that you have to use double asterisk without giving any space. I'm just copying this. So for bold, representing your text in bold format, just use double asterisk without space. See, the text is converted into bold. So I want both bold and italic formats. So then you have to use triple asterisk. So this will gives you italic and bold format. See, my text is in the bold format as well as in the italic format at the same time. So here I used triple asterisk. Okay. So now what I want to do is like I want to insert an image into Jupyter notebook. So in our Google Docs or something, in our Google Docs, what we will do if you want to add any image, we will use attachments, right? So in the same way, to insert an image, you have to use IME equals to image from my I'm copying image address and I'm pasting here. Okay, let's execute this. See here. So in this way, you can insert an image into your document or into your Jupyter notebook. So the command, the text is, so this is the text format you have to use. Okay. So, did you all are following? Now, so I'm the image is with some more height and more width, right? I want to adjust my image width and size. So then you have to, so I want to make it like some 100. Okay. And height equals to, and same I'm using 100 here. Okay, let's execute this. See, I have changed my height and width of my image. So it is very small. So I want to make it somewhat. Let me make it 300. In this way, you can change. Clear? So the content which we use, the content which we use in HTML. If you have any idea about HTML, so you can use all the commands in your Jupyter notebooks. All that format you can use in Jupyter notebook and you can work with that. Okay. So these are some few things that you should know while working with your Jupyter text format. Is it clear for you all? Any doubts or questions till now? If you're not having any questions, you can leave the session. So from Saturday, let's start with our Python programming. And everyone, please make sure to have Jupyter notebooks in your systems. Okay, as this is the theory part, and as we worked with only Jupyter introduction, so for today, we don't use our Encoder Navigator that much. But from Saturday, we are going to work with only our Jupyter notebook. So everyone, please make sure to have done with your installation by Saturday. Clear? So any other questions from you? If you are having any questions, you can feel free to ask us.
ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ మ్యామ్, రేపు క్లాస్ లేదా మ్యామ్?
లేదు, రేపు హాలిడే.
ఓకే మ్యామ్.
Let's meet up on Saturday. So no questions means you can leave. What all advanced libraries. It is difficult for us to work with the machine learning algorithms. When we are working with our artificial intelligence and machine learning, it is difficult as to work with our advanced libraries. So that's the reason. Okay, thank you all. I'm winding the session.